Hi everyone, welcome to After Class.
A podcast by two passionate adult ballerinas about all things adult ballet related.
And some random thoughts in between.
We're so glad you're here.
So grab your water bottle
or a cup of coffee
and join us for a quick chat after class.
The information provided in this podcast is intended solely for educational purposes and does not constitute professional medical advice. We recommend you seek the advice of your doctor or another qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding pregnancy, a medical condition, or injury. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of After Class. I have a very special surprise for everyone today, and that is that Yelena is back from maternity leave.
Finally, I'm back. So exciting.
I know it feels like it's been forever.
I know it does feel like that though. Seriously.
Yeah, it is so good to have you back, and I have missed you, and I know everyone listening has missed you. So today we're going to talk about Yelena's maternity journey. As I think most of you know, that's been the reason that she hasn't been with us the last several episodes, is because she was having a beautiful baby boy. And so today she's going to kind of share what that experience was like, specifically as a dancer, because obviously it's a really big change for your body to go through. And so she's going to spill the tea and give us all the details.
It's been wonderful.
Baby Rio, she had a boy, and he's now how many months now?
At 2 months and a little bit. So it's 10 weeks tomorrow. He's going to turn 10 weeks tomorrow. Yeah.
He's just the cutest. We've had a couple of calls prior to recording this. He's just so cute, so cute. So let's start just with pregnancy, and then we'll move through towards giving birth and then postpartum. So how did your body change? How did it affect your dancing? Because obviously, as people know, you're a dancer yourself and then a teacher. So big changes for your body being pregnant. And what was that like going through that season?
Yeah, it was a massive change. So let me start from the beginning. I was very, very lucky that I didn't have any morning sickness at all. My pregnancy was really, really good. And I was able to work out and to work and to teach and dance up to week 35. Week 35, it just everything got too heavy and just too difficult. The energy level just dropped down. Like, not everyone, but at least for me. And see my body changing, it was cute. It was really lovely. But there was a point where, yes, you kind of start losing your balance. So a little bit, it's funny how, I don't know if it's because of the weight forward or what it is, but you do lose a little bit of balance standing up, even standing over one leg. But fun enough and fun fact, some days I found myself balancing over one leg, and it was my best balance ever. So it went from one day not knowing what was going to happen to the next day being like, oh, I'm back again. I'm normal, and getting all excited. I don't know. It was quite difficult, not just about the weight, but also my hips start hurting lots. When you get pregnant, I don't really know the specific terms, but everything gets hyper extendable and flexible and stretchable. And oh my God, every time, like, although I didn't work out at the gym or my dance studio from week 35 onwards, I did kept stretching using the feet ball and yoga balls and all that just to keep all my hips stretching up. But it was really difficult. It was so stretchy. Like, it was just, I couldn't control my hips, so much pain. So I will say, everyone who is planning on having a baby anytime soon, get physically ready as much as you can, because the body's going to change a lot. But the best way you can do is to give it the best chance possible.
At what point did you stop teaching?
I stopped teaching just because I was feeling too tired, too heavy, and I was feeling a little bit frustrated, and I didn't want to transfer that in my classes. So I did actually just stop, like, I think it was 4 weeks before. So around the 35, 36 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So the biggest changes that you made to your routine was really taking out any harder exercise and focusing mainly on stretching. Was that kind of the strategy for the later part?
That was exactly what happened, because I remember that my feet start getting really big and swollen, and the reason why I changed mostly into stretching is I didn't need to stand up or stay for too long on my feet. So I just stayed on the floor, stretching, especially, and because I do enjoy doing lots of flexibility stretches, really. And I was just using that as well as They give you few exercises for the baby engaging and the baby like if rotating here, rotating there. And I kind of use that change on my routine to stay active, to at least have a way to keep motivated. Otherwise, I was just gonna sit on the couch and wait it out.
Yeah, and I would imagine too, I mean, when I think about dancers and pregnancy, that like one of the hardest things is going from being a very active person to having to be a little bit more sedentary. Like, was there a certain move in a ballet class or a certain part of the ballet class that you would get to where you'd be like, I'm starting to feel limited?
Oh, she's yeah. So I remember that my husband does pirouettes in the kitchen. So you can imagine how much pirouette I do around the entire house. So I'm doing like piquets and pirouettes. And one day I'm doing a pirouette. So I was like, ooh, wait, this is becoming dangerous. Like it wasn't dangerous, but it wasn't as easy as I used to. I was like, okay, wait. And then my ankles didn't feel strong. And I just didn't feel confident doing it. Although a lot of professional dancers keep dancing their entire pregnancy. And I know a lot of people that kept doing CrossFit the entire pregnancy as well. But for me, I don't know. I was just like, okay, it's about time. I just stop a little bit. It's just gonna be a month or two before I give birth, and then the recovery, and I will be back into dancing. I don't need to like really push it too much. It's not that I'm gonna be dancing like Tamara Rojos one day again. So
But I think too, there's something really important in that because in the age of social media, it's probably really easy to see on Instagram people that do dance all the way up until their due date or, whatever, however far along they're dancing. And I think it's good to, like, give yourself permission that your own journey is what you need it to be, and, like, just because you've seen other dancers do that online, you were able to listen to your body and be like, "I'm ready to pull back and take a break right now," and just because other people have done it a certain way doesn't mean you have to do it a certain way, and I think that that's a good overall message for anyone, whether it's related to pregnancy or anything else, like, you need to listen to your body and what is good for your body and what works for you.
exactly. We have been talking about that since the first day that we opened our podcast, always saying to everyone, listen to your body. It doesn't matter how much you worked out, it doesn't matter how much you've been training, it doesn't matter how little you've been training. You could push yourself even farther, or it's time to stop. Like it's fine. It's not like you're gonna be pregnant your entire life. It's not that you're gonna be stuck in a couch, feeling heavy and lack of energy forever. It's just season. It's few weeks, it's
Yeah.
few months, and then you will have time to recover back or start working towards having your body back. So yeah, it is difficult. And that's something that we can also mention here. I think probably later on we're going to talk about the mental tool that it takes. Like I'm such an active person. I'm always dancing, jumping, running, doing this, doing that. Like I'm climbing, doing CrossFit, doing Pilates. I was doing all that up to week 35. And then I was just like, slowly I start dropping like CrossFit. I was like, I don't feel safe doing CrossFit. And 22 weeks I stopped. Then Pilates, I kept it up to week 33. And then I went on holidays. And when I came back from the holidays, I was just like, okay, this is time just to settle, relax, and enjoy my last few days of napping by myself.
Amen. That's important.
Like I remember telling my husband, I feel guilty of having naps because I've never had a nap in my life. Never. And all my time is either, I don't know, even mowing the lawn outside in the backyard. If I have nothing else to do, my husband's like, what we're gonna do in the weekend? I'm like, oh, it's fine. I could get it done. And then we in the backyard and cleaning the house, cleaning toilets and doing things, active things. And then meanwhile, I'm sitting in the couch. I'm like, I feel so guilty that I'm having a 35 minutes nap. It's not even 2 hours. You're just feeling guilty, but I'm glad I did it. I'm
Yeah.
very glad.
I think that probably a lot of women feel that way too when you're pregnant, just because I think a lot of women are wired to be doers and goers and
Yeah.
usually have a lot on their plate and things that they're trying to get done. And so that's probably a really common feeling of having a little bit of guilt for having to slow down. And then
Really.
I think even compounded with if you're a dancer, when you're also removing taking class and doing something that's kind of a checklist item in your routine that makes you feel like you have a sense of purpose and you're subtracting that out. I think there's a lot of things that are going to be running through your mind.
so hard changing your entire life. Like everything, you've been very active. You've always been like, oh, I'm gonna do this and this and this. Once you get to a certain point on the pregnancy, like you're just sitting there, like it could be today, it could be tomorrow, and you need to allow yourself to. That's fine. You don't have a schedule right now. You don't have a routine to follow, and yeah, relax and enjoy the journey of your pregnancy and then having your baby.
Hey, adult dancer. Do you love the podcast and want more resources, news, and tips to support your ballet goals? Head over to thebusybunhead.com, your source for all things adult ballet. Stay in the know, find community, and fuel your motivation with resources like the bulletin board, a free monthly newsletter, and the Bunhead Book Club. Brand new to ballet? Book a session to get your questions answered. It's all waiting for you at thebusybunhead.com. So I'm curious if you felt like there was particular challenges related to body image during that time, because obviously you're used to your body looking a certain way for, 30 plus years. And then as like a former professional dancer, you've had a certain physique. And what was that like watching your body change? Was it hard or did it not really bother you at all?
It's very interesting because the hard part came after giving birth. That's when the whole body image hit me hard. I never had body image issues or troubles in my entire career as a dancer. Never. I never even did a diet. It was very easy for my body to, like, I don't know. My husband always says, like, I can't believe it. Like, even at 30 years old, you are eating and eating and eating. Where does that weight go? You just don't put weight on. And it happened afterwards, after having the birth.
Was that, do you think, because you expected something different than what actually happened? Did you think like, oh, I'm going to give birth and then just go back to normal? Or like, what do you think caused the shift from not really struggling with body image during the pregnancy to suddenly experiencing it after?
It's definitely, I have super high expectations. I thought, I don't know why, because it's science and it's biology. So obviously, there's not a magic wand there that is going to poop. But for some reason, you think that you give birth and everything is gone back to normal the next day. And I didn't really register how much my hips widen, my body stretched forward. The belly needs to recover slowly. The belly stretched, so the change of coloration on the skin. It's another thing that I wasn't expecting. I was walking and I could feel my abs moving side to side inside my belly. It was just the whole thing, a massive realization as whoops, 9 months of massive changes in my body. I can feel them now. And it's like feeling my muscles all over the place. Like I had no control of my body.
Yeah, I've heard that that's a really hard one for women post-pregnancy, is like just the abdominal area, because everything had to stretch and move to accommodate. And so the recovery from that is really difficult. So now you're 10 weeks out. What has that process been like? Because I know you and I have talked, in other
Yeah.
conversations kind of about the things that you're doing. And I'm sure other people who maybe are just post pregnancy and are kind of trying to come back into dance would be curious to know what types of things you've been doing to start feeling like you're getting ready, because you're not doing full ballet classes yet,
Yeah.
but you're working towards that. So what
Yeah.
types of things are you doing?
So I had a C-section, an emergency C-section, which I did not plan at all. They always said, oh, don't go with your birth plan because it's always going to change. It's true. It's always going to change. I was going for natural birth and blah, blah, blah. Well, it happens that his head was stuck, it was tilted, he couldn't be born naturally, and we just find out within no time. Like they said, you have to rush and get a C-section. But I was mobile, no painkiller, and doing squats because this baby just wanted to do squats to fall asleep. Oh gosh, that first night I was already doing a legs workout.
That's so funny. But yeah, I think it's really cool, and I think hopefully hopeful for people that going into pregnancy, giving birth as a dancer was actually a huge benefit for the
Yeah,
whole process and your recovery because 'cause you're strong, you know? And so I think, like, for people to not underestimate what ballet is really doing for your body, even in practical terms of, like, preparing for pregnancy. Like, that's
yeah,
amazing.
exactly. And even something very important to keep in mind is the strain on the pelvic floor for after giving birth. So I haven't had any leakage. I haven't had any urgency to run to the toilet. If I'm in that point where, oh, I need to go to the toilet, I can hold it. I can wait because I just visited the physiotherapist 2 days ago just to get clear for exercising, which I can go back to ballet now. She mentioned that the pelvic floor, my pelvic floor was ready and strong because all of the, believe it or not, all of the demi-plies, all of the tendus, all that we learn to engage and pull, those are the basic foundation of pelvic floor exercising for after giving birth. So that's something that she said. For being a ballet dancer, you train your entire life to get your pelvic floor strong. There was a little bit of a drawback because maybe giving birth could be difficult to let the pelvic floor relax. However, after giving birth is good because you have all the control again.
I know we've talked about some of the challenges of body image post-pregnancy, but do you also feel like it's changed your perception of your body or, like, your appreciation of what your body is capable of?
100%. It's unbelievable how much we train. And I was just thinking this the other day. Like, I was like, I would not let Rio be a dancer because we train our entire life to perform for an hour, and that's it. We get a super massive height for that hour, but it doesn't really pay off as to have a comfortable life one day and being able to, I don't know, to have material things that everyone loves, right? It doesn't guide you towards that type of life. It just guides you through a life of, I don't know, passion and desire and really love for dancing. But it's unbelievable how that much training actually paid off, not just on that dancing, it paid off on recovering from birth, having control, in a way, having control of my body. And I was just like, I'm so glad that I have done that much exercise in my entire life. Like, I never would imagine that ballet would had helped me so much.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just amazing because ballet I think what makes ballet unique from other exercises, maybe just as an example of, like, running or CrossFit, which are great things, but I think what makes ballet unique is that you're not just building muscle, but you're also building a different type of awareness of your body and, like, what you're using and how things feel. Like, I just think that there's a body awareness and intelligence that you're building in yourself in ballet that I would imagine is really helpful, especially, like, now in the recovery process.
Exactly. Like, there is something, this is TMI, too much information, but there is something called pelvic floor relief assessment. And basically, the physiotherapist goes inside you and start guiding you, do this muscle, and you are like training and putting there and whatever because she needs to assess how's your pelvic floor. And it's very funny how she was like, oh, do this muscle. She's like, oh my God, you have such a good control of your internal muscles. Because when you're doing your demi-plies, your grand plies, your tendus, lifting your leg in the air, we ballet dancers don't show that we are in distress. We are doing everything like nothing is happening. So we are actually learning to control all our muscles in a way that we can see them because we can never look at our legs as we do in tandus. We have to do them without even looking at the legs. So it's all the proprioception that we talked a long time ago and all that, it comes up and it just surprise you how much you put on your ballet training without knowing that you're getting ready for after a massive change in your life.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because 'cause I'm even thinking of the episode that went out a couple days ago, which at the point that this airs, it will have been a couple weeks ago, but the interview that I did with Natalie, who has the rare brain tumor, and she was talking about how even her doctors have said because of her background, she did, like, Irish dancing and, synchronized swimming, which has a lot of in common with ballet, and her ability to balance and her proprioception is stronger and she's doing better, you know, than a lot of other people who would have the same condition. because of her background. And so it's interesting, like now talking about pregnancy, it's like another instance where having
Yeah.
a dance background and that awareness of balance and where your body is in space comes into play in like a real life.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, anyone listening to this that is not a dancer will be like, oh, yeah, but gymnastics does the same. Yeah, but this podcast is about ballet dancers. So, sorry.
We're partial to the benefits of ballet, so that's what you're gonna hear about today. But I'm curious if maybe you can share a little bit about what your recovery routine has been looking like. What was kind of the first thing that you started doing when you started get back into movement?
I knew that I wanted to get back my body. Like, you have no idea how frustrating. It's not frustrating. It was overwhelming to wake up and walk and feel. Imagine hold a bag with water and put inside like a little bowl and like a heavy ball, and then start walking and feel how that heavy ball goes inside that water bag side to side and side to side, and you can feel how it touches each side of the walls of that bag. That was exactly what I felt with my entire body, and especially with my abs. I thought that my abs was gonna they were gonna fall out of my belly. That's how soft everything was. Couldn't live with that. I just couldn't, and I was tired. But Rio was a good baby since God, and I was able to have lots of time while he's sleeping. I sat on the floor. I found a YouTube video that says, I just Google post C-section safe exercises to do. And as I know my body, I took from the video the exercises that I knew I could do. Very simple. A workout for me looked like 5 to 6 minutes a day. That's what I was doing. It wasn't 15 or 25, 5 to 6 minutes. I lay flat on the floor. I bent my legs and put my feet on the ground. So I was doing glute bridges, very slow. I was doing the pelvic floor exercise that the physiotherapist recommended. And then I started doing heel slide. So from bending legs, I slide the heel, the weight all stretch on the floor and back up. And then I did side planks, but side planks really slow. I just was on my elbow and I just lift a little bit and down. And maybe I think I did 3 for the first 2 weeks each side. And that's it. Now, I did felt a little bit of pain on my C-section, the incision, like 3 weeks into doing exercises like that. I would gradually increase a little bit more. I was doing lifting legs in the air and then just took it, tapping toes on the ground and toes on the ground for like a bent knee position, 90 degrees angle, tapping the toes on the ground, tapping toes on the ground. So things like that.
Yeah.
But I overdid it and I had a little bit of pain on my C-section in the area. So it's all about listening and following your body. I will actually, let me spoil this a little bit more. I will actually be posting videos very soon.
That was my next question. I would like, can we share what your plans are? Because I think this is really exciting because from what I've seen, I haven't seen anything like this. And I know even just from being on social media that there's a lot of women that are either getting ready to get pregnant, are pregnant, navigating post-pregnancy, and I haven't really seen anything that's geared towards adult ballet dancers and the pregnancy journey. So I am super excited for you to be doing this. So, and I'm glad that you're going to talk about it.
So yeah, I will be sharing everything that I have done physically to get ready to do a full ballet bar. Now the physiotherapist actually released me and she said we can do ballet classes, full ballet classes, as long as we don't jump, as long as we don't run, and as long as we don't lift legs higher than 45 degrees, because that's when the core start to engage. And we should not work on engaging core now, but engaging pelvic floor. The entire thing that we've been talking. It's funny because when I started the pregnancy, I was like, oh, it's this pelvic floor. And oh my God, everyone talking about the pelvic floor and the pelvic floor. Well, the pelvic floor is what holded your baby the entire time. And it's what is holding all your organs the entire time. And it's what is making you to walk around without leaking the entire time. So yay! Very important pelvic floor. I had no idea.
Looks so funny.
So
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
think I really realized either, like how important it actually is. I think that's probably one of those things that until you've gone through pregnancy, you probably don't have a full appreciation for everything that your pelvic floor is doing for you on a regular basis.
Exactly. And it's very interesting because this program that I want to share with everyone, it's so useful, not just for those that are in the postpartum recovery, but also anyone who is planning to be pregnant or to have a baby anytime soon. It's gonna be all 45 degrees. And she even gave me an idea. She's like, oh, we should do everything very romantic, like the romantic air. I'm like, whoo, here we go. Let's get romantic with romantic air and have it romantic tutu and legs of 45. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be cute.
I love that. No, yeah, it's great, and I also think too, it's funny because in some, like, weird way, it kind of ties into something that we've talked about. I think we talked about in the artistry episode about how you don't need your extensions to be really high for things to be beautiful, and so this is gonna be putting that theory to the test, and we are gonna prove.
Exactly. Exactly. We're gonna prove that we can do it. And the fun thing that I'm getting more excited about it is the way I'm planning and the way I'm recording everything. Again, it's not just for pregnancy or for postpartum recovery. It's just an easy way to get back or to returning to ballet as well. It's gonna be very simple. It's gonna be slow paced. It's gonna be just something that you can fall in love with ballet again.
I love that. So, when are your classes returning? Because I can't remember if I told you this, but I have gotten messages about knowing when your online classes, when your Zoom classes are coming back. So, let's tell the people what they want to know.
So I'm officially coming back on the 1st of July, which is very soon. I'm not sure how it's gonna look like, and usually I used to have 2 group classes every week. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it, but I'm trying to keep multiple classes a week, but it might look like more as a drop-in class. And until everything gets really in a good schedule, it will be more, it's their class today, it's their class tomorrow, but it's definitely gonna be multiple classes a week.
Oh, that's so fun. I think people are really excited to have you back. Thank you for sharing this with us. I think it's probably safe to say that you're totally available for if people want to reach out to you with
Yeah.
pregnancy specific questions.
Definitely. Anyone who wants to reach out and just ask any questions, I'm here. That's something that I want to say that although obviously pregnancy is not an injury, it's not a sickness or anything like that. Treat the pregnancy as the same way you treat yourself if you were to be injured. It's not forever, and you need to do something while you're injured, while you're pregnant. You need to do some things to get you ready for that recovery. So you need to do a little bit while you are injured. Like we always said, don't sit on the couch and just sit with your legs stretched and don't move your ankle. No, you actually need to move your ankle slowly forward and back so the mobility stays there. Although you can't do strength, you can do some mobility. The same with pregnancy. You might not be able to jump, but you can still do your calf rises and you can still do a little bit of flexibility stretches because staying active for as long as you can, listening to your body, which is key thing in this podcast. Always follow your body, follow your own level, your own abilities. Don't guide yourself by someone else. Just do what you can in your own level and try to stay as active as possible. So once you pass that little bit of a hiccup, you are ready to start working out. And then you're not going to go straight into the same level that you were, but then you have a motivation. I want to go there. I want to get there. And that's the next step.
That's interesting too, because I think even just that mindset of knowing that you can push through things that are hard and achieve, I think that's it's such a ballet dancer mindset. Along the way, as we improve, we're having that innate ability to like push ourselves and believe that we can work through things to get to the next level. And so I think even that mindset really serves you,
Yeah.
during pregnancy and post pregnancy is like, you know how to do this, you know how to train, you know how to show up for yourself, you know how to believe that you can do it. And so now it's just kind of going back to that mindset as you re-enter
Yeah.
ballet.
Exactly.
And Yelena will be your guide as she releases this new program and we get back to class. So keep an eye on her social media for class details because by the time this episode comes out, July 1st will only be like a couple
Around the corner.
yeah, like a couple weeks away. So keep an eye on her social media. If you're on her email list, I'm sure you'll send an email. If you're not on her email list, go to her website, onlineballetclasses.com, and get on her email list. And then you'll get the email letting you know when classes start. So, Yelena, it's been so good having you back and getting to catch up and chat.
It was amazing. I'm so happy to be here and be back.
We really hope that you guys enjoyed the episode. And if you did, we would love it if you could take a minute to leave us a review. It really helps other adult dancers to find the podcast. And we read every single one and love and appreciate when we get them. So if you guys would do that for us, we would really appreciate it. And we will catch you on the next one.
Thank you for listening to After Class.
Join the community on YouTube and Instagram, or come dance with us, our weekly Zoom classes for adult ballerinas like you.
Links included in the episode description. Special thank you to our sponsors.
See you next time after class. Podcast produced by Mission Bridge Media.